Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of African Games and Sports. With me again is Mr. Arnold Ngala. In the first part, we spoke about the origins of the earliest recordings of competitive sports that were found in Kemet, in the Pharaoh's tombstones, and
yes, and the folk rain.
yes, and yes.
Yeah.
So welcome back, Mr. Arnold Ngala.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in part 2, what are we starting with?
Okay, so we are continuing. So, but 3, the third game I can talk about is the kind of game I can refer to as table games. Table games.
Oh, table games. Okay.
Yes, table games. For example, in British English, it's they call them draft. A draft.
Okay.
And then in American English, it's called checkers.
Okay.
Yes. So those type, that kind of a game. Yeah, to make someone
Understand.
to make our viewer
what we're talking about.
Sorry.
So that everybody's got a clear picture of what we are talking about.
Yes, yes. I think in that way that would be easier. Yes, yes. Yeah. So examples in Africa, we have got a Siga, one called Siga, as in Siga, Siga. So Siga was a table game which started in Kemet, which is ancient Egypt. So they'll put a board, right, like a. So the board starts out empty, and 2 players take turns placing their pieces in empty cells of that board, and then thereafter the players move their pieces by trying to remove the pieces of their opponents.
Okay.
Yes. So if you know trap, at least you will get a picture. But in this case, it came in different variants. So the Egyptians, or should I say the people of Kemet, the one called Siga. Yes. And then in Senegal, they've got a type of game called Yote. And then in another one called Choko. Choko is played in Mali, the Gambia, Guinea, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Benin, and so on. Especially this one is so popular in West Africa.
Okay.
Choko. And then in South Africa, they've got a type of game called Mlabalaba or Morabaraba. Yeah. So Morabaraba is more like a Sotho word spoken by the people of South Africa, Lesotho, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. And then Mlabalaba is a Zulu word, or should I say it's a Nguni word? Yes. And then in Nigeria, they've got Ayo. There's another one called Ayo.
Okay.
In Madagascar, they've got a type of game called Fannorona. Yes. So this type of game, it helps in critical thinking and strategic skills. So that's why they were playing it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the 4th game,
so
I can tell you.
The one in Madagascar is more like chess.
Yes. If we can say so, yes. Actually, draft and chess, they're almost of the same. It's more like chess is a table game, right?
Yes.
It's like a variant. Yes, it's like chess is a variant of a table game.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's just one game, but being played in different forms.
Okay.
So you will find that maybe when it's not being called Morabaraba, it's being played in a certain form. When it's being called Fannorona, is in another form. You see,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the main the goals are the same: critical thinking,
Okay.
and being strategic. You see, so which means that you will find that in some countries, it was being played by the military or people
Okay.
who are in the military, maybe during leisure, as a way to make them to enhance their military intelligence by sharpening their thinking capacity,
Okay.
because it's a game of strategy, and it's a game of critical thinking. Yes, to a point, if you know it, you are perceived as intelligent, or it helps to make you intelligent, if I put it that way.
Okay.
Yes. And then the fourth game is a game I can refer to as rhythmic martial arts.
Rhythmic.
So what must come to rhythmic martial arts? So what must come to the mind of the viewer or the listener is martial arts, like kung fu, karate. That's what I want them to have in their minds.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So but now the word rhythmic, it means it's done in a musical way.
Okay.
You see, so it's a form of martial arts with musical movement,
Okay.
to a point that this type of martial arts, it is also, we can also include it as part of African music
Okay.
because of its rhythmic elements. Yes. So in Africa it is called Engolo, as Engolo, Engolo, Engolo.
Okay.
So it is being played by the Nkhumbi people, or I can say the Nkhumbi tribe. There is a tribe called the Nkhumbi. The Nkhumbi are part of the Neka ethnic group, which is found in Angola. So the Nkhumbi are found in Angola. So this sport was more of a courtship sport, if I can put it that way. It was used to court a woman. so the winner became the future bridegroom of the woman the men were competing for. So sometimes if the woman, so in other words, if the woman did not know which men to choose, you see, so she will make them play Engolo. So it's more like putting Bruce Lee and Jet Li to fight and see who is going to be the winner. so so that whoever wins is the one who's going to be the future bridegroom. So you will see how sports came about in Africa again. It came about as a competition to get a woman. So so competitors had to competitors had to imitate the movements of a zebra, how a zebra moves, and they had to do it in a rhythmic way, you see, or should I say in a musical context. So the word Engolo, Engolo means a zebra dance, you see, in Nkhumbi, yes. So the competitor to show how a zebra kicks and so on. So in other words, I want you to picture a form of of martial arts where someone is kicking like a zebra, but in a musical context again. So if this was Kung Fu, I believe you know that in Kung Fu there are many styles, right?
Yes.
For example, there is the cobra style, there is the fish style, there is the drunken master, you know, all those kind of things, right?
Yes.
So in other words, let's say if you're using the cobra style, it means that you must fight like a cobra, right? Yes. So if this was in the context of Kung Fu, this form of sport, if it was in the form of Kung Fu, we were going to call it the zebra style. You see?
Okay.
So yeah. So the Nkhumbi people who were transported to Brazil, because there are so many people. Actually, the largest social group of Africans who were taken to Brazil as slaves were from Angola. You see,
Okay.
so that is why you remember when we were speaking of African music, we spoke of Mbulumbumba. Do you remember?
Yes.
That musical ball that is now
Yes.
called berimbau. We said it was from Angola. Do you remember? Remember? And we spoke of candomblé, if you remember, and some of the elements that are from Angola, you know.
Yes.
So it is because of the fact that Angolans, people from Angola, were the ones who were taken as the highest number of slaves who went to Brazil were from Angola, and even
Angola area.
even during colonization, Angola was colonized by Portugal, which is the same country which colonized Brazil.
Okay.
So the Nkhumbi people who were transported as slaves to Brazil, they preserved and used Engolo as part of their fighting strategies, you know, to fight against their slave masters. So what I want you I want you to connect this. When we were speaking about African music, do you remember we said African slaves, they used dance movements, fast dance movements to communicate, right?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
And that is how tap dance came about. That's how cha-cha-cha came about. That's how salsa came about. So now I wanted to connect that information, and with this information that I just told you, that they were using Engolo to fight. So in other words, Africans, they will use a dance movement to communicate with each other. And then they will use dance movements again to fight against their slave masters, to escape or to make a revolution. Do you get it? So in other words, I want you to picture African slaves beating up slave masters in a Kung Fu style, you know. I think you get the picture. So they were using their sports, to fight against slavery, escape sometimes, you see. So that is what they were using African sport for. Because of sport, some of them were able to escape, you see. And there is a form of Brazilian martial arts called Cabo Hinda Angola, you see, Cabo Hinda Angola, and it is derived from Engolo. So it's more of a variation of Engolo, you see. It's called Cabo Hinda Angola, yes. And so now all this was meant to all this was used by Afro-Brazilians to revive their lost African culture, you see, through reviving this martial arts, which is a form of African sport. Yes. And then the fifth sport is what I will term folk boxing. So I believe you can get the picture, right?
Yes.
Yes. So boxing is done in many ways in Africa. For example, there is a form of boxing called musangwe or musangwe, played by the Venda people of South Africa. So they use it as a rite of passage for Venda boys. It's more of an initiation rite, you see. So it's more of a bare-knuckle boxing. And so boys in initiation will be fighting, this bare-knuckle boxing as a way to teach them or to learn to withstand pain that comes with adulthood. Yes. And then there is another form of boxing called dambe. Dambe is popular among the Hausa people of Nigeria.
Hundreds, if not thousands of
dambe, yes. So when playing dambe, the arm, the fighting arm is wrapped with a rope to provide a punching power.
But many of these guys are still sort of on the breadline.
This form of boxing lasts. It lasts after the opponent has been punched and drops to the floor.
That's their
Of
heritage, and we can never take that apart.
So that's how it is done. And then there's another form of boxing called ndumba. Ndumba is performed by the Luya people in Kenya. Yes, it's a form of boxing. Yes. And then the sixth game, I'm going to refer it as animal riding. Animal riding. So what must come to mind of the listener or the viewer is a person riding on an animal. For example, horse riding, to make it easier. Yes. So in Africa, it comes in many forms. For example, there is camel riding. Where do you think this is done?
The Sahel, no, the Sahara area going up, North Africa.
Yes, even in the Sahel, yes. Yes. Yeah, actually, we let's just say Africa. Yes. And so a camel is very popular there. That's why they use it as a sport, as a riding sport, right?
Yes.
The reason is because there's camels popular there, and there's a reason why camels are so popular. It is because North Africa is mostly a desert, and camels can survive in desert conditions. For example, they can stay for about 8 days without water. They rarely sweat. They store fat in their hump. They've got longer lashes, eyelashes that protect the eye from the sunstone. You see, yes. So during leisure, they camel riding, yes. And then another form of sport. Another example is donkey racing. Right? So there'll be donkeys to make it easier for someone who is listening or to understand. So this is popular in Lamu Island. Lamu Island is in Kenya. It's an island in Kenya, and they have an annual festival every November to celebrate Swahili traditions. So this sport, donkey racing, it is also part of Swahili tradition. So they do. So they also perform it during that festival.
Okay.
So it attracts many tourists, you see, and the fun lovers to the island in November. And in return, it brings foreign currency to the island.
Okay.
You see. So now what we see is that this kind of sport is being used by Africans, not only to preserve their culture and not only to have fun, but also to bring foreign currency or as a way of livelihood.
Okay.
And then there's also another form called Savika. There's another one called Savika. So Savika is more of it's a bull backing rodeo. To get the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's a bull backing rodeo, which is found among the Bestileo people of Madagascar. So there is a group called the Bestileo people. So that's where Savika is being done as a sport. Yes. So the sport is used as a rite of passage to manhood. You see. So the player, or should I say the competitor, attempts to ride on a backing bull. So the competitor has to climb or hold to the hump the longest without getting stomped on or without being stabbed with the long and sharpens of the bull. So the one who holds the longest is the winner.
Okay.
Yes, is viewed as the winner, or is also used or is viewed as attractive to young women. You see,
So it's like the bull. That's done in Spain now. This kind of
yes,
yeah.
yes. I can say which is done in the USA among the cowboys. You see that kind of bull backing.
Okay.
I think the Spaniards, yes. Actually the Spanish people have got many bull games. Like sometimes they allow an irritated bull to move around the village. You know the game, right?
Yes.
Or sometimes they will play this kind of game whereby they'll be having like the competitor will be having this red cloth, which the bull will yes, which the bull will I think the bull will be thinking that it is its blood.
Yes.
And then it will go after that cloth. Yes. What comes to my mind now is what's being done, like the people who are in Texas, the cowboys, if I can put that. When the bull to see this, it's called what, rodeo.
Yes,
Where
it's
the
called
bull
the
is
rodeo. Yes.
Yes. And then there's the game. It's a game, or should I say game that resemble modern hockey. So what comes to the mind of the viewer or listener is modern hockey, or should I say modern field hockey? Yes. So I'm going to give examples. There is a type of hockey called Makchah. Makchah. So is a form of sand hockey or grass hockey. It's played in Morocco. So played by two teams with 7 players each team. And then the beds made of trenches. So and then the ball is a coat of camel, or should I say it's a camel's hair? Sorry, it's a camel's hair wool, yes, or a coat of camel. And then the goal is to score by pushing the ball behind the opponent team line.
Okay.
So they will draw some lines. So
Yeah.
if you manage to push the ball behind, then you are the winner. That's how they play it.
Okay.
And then there is another one called Ghana. So Ghana is played by Ghana is played in Ethiopia. So it's played by two villagers, or should I say it used to be played by two villagers. It's played on Christmas Day, you see, or sometimes it could be played by two families, you see, or sometimes it could be played by a family. So a household can divide into two teams, you see. So you see, so it's a sport or it's a game which is used to promote unity among families or communities or villages, you see.
Okay.
So in Africa, sport is also, there are some communities who use certain types of sports as a way to unite, you see. So again, for example, let's say two villages are playing, right?
Yeah.
What they do is, what they do is each goalpost is put on each village, and then wooden sticks and wooden balls are used as hockey sticks and hockey balls. Yes.
Okay.
So the village that manages to score on the line on the goal post of the opponent is declared the winner.
Okay.
You see. So I think you can imagine like two villages
Yeah.
playing, you know. So yes. And then the eighth game is stick fighting, you see. So stick fighting comes in many forms, and it consists of attacking with sticks and dodging. So one scores by hitting a target. Yeah. So I'm going to give you examples of stick fighting in Africa.
Okay.
Okay, in Kemet, in Kemet, they used to have a form of stick fighting called tatib. Yeah, it's called tatib. Yes. So they used it to train soldiers. It was a way of training soldiers. And then among the developed people and some Ngoni groups, because the developed people are part of the Ngoni ethnic group. Like in Ndebele, fighting is called ukuqaqazana. Yes.
And that's more like
So
a Xhosa thing.
Xhosa is also a language. Yes. Or what I can say is that we can say yes, the Xhosa also played. They're also part of the Ngoni group. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The problem with Ndebele is that there are many developed cultural practices that destroyed by colonization, such that some of these things they be perceived as exotic, whilst they are local, but they've been made not to be applied because of colonization.
Okay.
Yes. So on ukuqaqazana, you use two sticks. So there is an attacking stick, and then there is a defense stick. So the attacking stick is quick, and then the defensive one is called ubogo. And then in Algeria, they have a food called El Matrak. Matrak, yeah. And then number 9, it's a game or which I can refer to as a game that resembles cricket, softball, and baseball. That's what I want people to imagine. In this case, in an African form.
Okay.
So yes, so it's called Kate Om El Mahak. Daket El Mahak is played by the Amazigh people in Libya and nearby countries there in North Africa. Yes. So is played by 2 teams, 9 players each. So these teams, they tend to bat and catch the ball. So the batting strikes the ball with a bat, sending it as far away as possible, so that the team can have enough time to run to the mahak. So the mahak, so is more like there are 2 bases. There is the home base, and then there is the away base, which is called mahak. So they run, from the home base to the mahak and back. You see, so the fielding team has to by all means to stop ball as it flies, or by picking it up fast and it to hit a member or members of the batting team. You see, before they reach the mahak or back again at the home base. You see, so if the ball hits a member before he reaches any base, that member is out.
Okay.
So that's how it is played. Yes. And then the 10th game is a game that I refer to as the board game. It's more of table games, but this one is a board game. It's a game. Okay, I am watching you right now, since on Zoom meeting, right?
Yes.
So I can see your background.
Yes.
So your background, there is a clay pot, right?
Yes.
So that is the kind of game I am talking about.
Okay.
It's a game being played by making a board.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I am calling it the board game.
Yes.
So it's similar to draft. No, it's similar to table games.
Yes.
You see. So this game is played in different ways and also in different types of boards. So sometimes the board can be made by digging small holes on earth. Mm-hmm. You see. Sometimes the board can be done by carving a wooden board. You see. Are we together?
Yes.
Or sometimes it can be made by pottery, like the one I see at the back on your background. Yes. So it's made of pottery. So sometimes it's also can be made by carving a block of rock.
Okay.
You see. Yes. So most block of rocks that are all over Africa that are carved into holes are actually boards playing board games. So they were actually boards for playing board games. Okay. So they are found in many places where there is a bedrock. Yes. So that's archaeological evidence that this game has been played as far back as we don't know.
Okay.
Yes. So the game pieces are usually small objects like seeds and stones. Sometimes, like example, in a desert, they sometimes even use the camel dung as a piece, as a game piece. Yes. And today, some people use caps, you see, as a playing piece or as playing pieces. Yes. So typically, the holes are set in rows. You see, so it depends with the variant of the game, but they are set in rows. For example, say 2 rows can belong to 2 rows of holes can belong to a competitor, and the remaining 2 holes again belong to the other opponent.
Okay.
Which means that in that case there will be 4 rows of holes in that case. So the goal is to capture more seeds than the opponent. You see, though the game is played in many variants, but they've got the same goal.
Okay.
So yes, so the first player takes the pieces from one of his or her holes and begins distributing them one at a time. The holes. Piece lands in the hole with others. The player obtains all pieces of the last hole and continues distributing the pieces around the board. You see, so typically that's how it is being played. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for being with us. Join us again for part 3
in our next podcast. To Mr. Arnold Maiwongengala, thank you very much. And to you for listening, we appreciate your support. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify and iTunes and all the other places that you get your podcast from. Thank you.
Ezakithi wendawo ezikude zingumasithela zimfihlela wena wema wendawo ezikude zingumasithela zimfihlela wena wema wendawo ezikude zingumasithela zimfihlela wena wema wendawo ezikude zingumasithela zimfihle